All right, today I'm cooking a brisket. Gonna be cooking this brisket on the big green egg. I'm gonna start it out like I do my ribs. I'm gonna start it out in the oven at 200 for a couple hours and just get it warm, get that cooking process started, get some of the connective tissues to start breaking down and make it real tender. And then I'll move it from the oven to the big green egg. So the rub we're gonna use today is 4 Rivers barbecue brisket rub. We're gonna do both sides. We're gonna let it set in room temperature and kind of soak up some of this rub. And then we will move it into the oven. All right, so I've let the brisket set out at room temperature for about 30-45 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up and put it into the oven for a few hours at 200 degrees. Right, setting the back porch up for college football. About to put on the brisket. We're gonna use the Therm Pro, keep track of that internal temperature. This guy I've started about an hour ago. So I'm doing a clean burn. I'll put a little bit more fuel on, but next thing I've got to do is clean the grate. I need to put the heat plate down into the grill. That heat plate's going to keep the brisket from getting direct heat and just burning out, right? So I'm going to put the heat plate down on these little sleeves here. Go on top, the fuel, then the grate on top of that, then we'll be good to go. So time to, it's 2 hours after I put the brisket in the oven at 200 degrees. So it's time to pull that and go ahead and prep the grill. All right, we pulled the brisket out of the oven. That's 2 hours on 200. This is a 6.5 pound brisket. I'll show you here in just a minute. Now let's prep the green egg. All right, we got the grill set for the meat. These are my smoking blocks right here. I'm using cherry wood. Soaked them in water for a few minutes so they'll burn really slow and smoke around the meat. The meat's going to go on the grate. We got the heat shield in. I don't know if you guys can see that. And let's see what our 2 hour baked brisket looks like. Looks good. We've already got some of that fat that's breaking down. That's good. All right, we figured out how to get this thing on the brisket on, and it is going back on the big green egg at about 250 for the next 2.5-3 hours. We're all set up for a slow ride for the next 2 hours. We've got Therm Pro set up on the brisket. We've got apple cider vinegar, half and half mixed with water. Right now we're right about 175 because I just opened it, but we'll show you what we're working with here. So this guy's gonna smoke just like this on about 200 to 250 for the next couple hours. So I'm setting the Therm Pro to 195, which is where my 7 pound brisket should be good to go. Hit start. There we go. Now once we get to 195, it's going to alarm me. There's my brisket on the big green egg. I'll check it here in a little bit to spray it with some apple cider vinegar. But yeah, it's put to bed for the next hour or two. And the Therm Pro is going to let me know when the internal temperature is around 195. All right, we're almost done with the brisket cook. Probably about, I don't know, another 45 minutes remaining. Maybe an hour. We're probably close to 45. We're at 173 internal temperature on the brisket. It's been smoking good for a while now, so I'm going to crack it open and hit it with a water apple cider vinegar mixture just to keep it from drying out. Oh, it smells fantastic. All right, so we got the brisket pulled and wrapped. I pulled it at right around 192. Supposed to go to 195, but it'll still keep cooking while it's wrapped. The important part is just to let it sit for a good 30 minutes wrapped in tinfoil.